the chosen one. This message did not find you by chance. God sent you here for a divine cause. Something in your soul is stirring. Do you feel it? A sensation that the old has passed away and the new is taking over. July isn't simply another month on the calendar. It is a spiritual threshold, doorway, or heavenly portal. And God wants you to be aware, ready, and aligned. You are not going into another season. You are about to witness a magnificent unfolding. What's coming is not tiny. What's coming is huge. And it was planned by heaven long before you were ever aware. Let's break this down into 7 strong, spiritually led chapters so you can completely grasp the significance of this prophetic event. Before we delve in, please like, share, and subscribe because this message is more than simply material. It's a heavenly affirmation provided personally to the selected ones, as well as a sincere thank you to everyone who has supported us via amazing thanks. God abundantly bless you. Your presence, faith, and steadfast conviction are seen by those that come up on a frequent basis to observe, listen, and align. I am really thankful if your soul detects this frequency. Write in the comments right now. That is not a random number. It's a holy signal to the highest power that you're ready for the huge release, heavenly reset, and spiritual improvement that July brings. Not everyone will read the whole message. Only the genuinely selected. However, those who do will receive clarity, greater awareness, and prophetic insight into the scope of what is being delivered this season. This is not a message to be heard once and then forgotten. This is a living message, an evolving pattern directly from above. Watch it again anytime your soul stirs, since each time, another heavenly layer will be revealed, allowing you to advance. It is not simply approaching. It has already been activated. July is your portal, and what awaits you on the other side is beyond your wildest expectations. Let me begin. Chapter 1. This message is heaven's affirmation for your spirit. The chosen one. You've noticed a change, an unseen tug in your spirit that you can't put into words, but you feel it deep inside your soul. Something seems to be coming together, as if something invisible is accumulating behind the barrier, preparing to breach into your world. This is no coincidence. This isn't paranoia. This isn't emotional hype. This is heaven rapping on the walls of your consciousness, saying, "Get ready. I am about to relocate." You were never designed to blend in. That restlessness, that continual inner awareness, the sense that something is around, but not yet evident, that is heavenly sensitivity. You were created to identify what most others overlook, but others are distracted by noisy patterns or surface-level success. Your spirit is tuned to a different frequency. You detect spiritual messages that have no language. And right now, heaven is giving forth one of its clearest signs ever. God has been communicating to you via your surroundings, interruptions, individuals who have abruptly vanished from your life, weight that arrived without reason, and periods of calm that came just as unexpectedly. You faced delays that seemed like punishment, but you're starting to see that these were providential diversions. These were not setbacks. They were setups. You were not being kept back. You were being kept in place until the designated moment. And now that moment has arrived. This message is not for enjoyment. It's an alignment. It's the spiritual affirmation you've been praying for in secret. July is not just another month. It is a heavenly marker in time, a heavenly threshold, a divine appointment on your spiritual calendar. This isn't the time to become sidetracked. This is not the time to withdraw in dread. This is the time to awaken with clarity and move with purpose. God is not just planning something for you. He's been preparing you for this. You may not know all the specifics, but your soul does. It senses heaven's shifting cadence. And right now, you're getting this message because you're spiritually tuned in enough to receive what most others would ignore. God knows how to reach you. He knew just when your soul would be prepared to hear this. This is not information. It's a revelation. You're not just here to listen. You came here to awaken. You've completed a season of stripping, pressing, testing, and trimming. There were evenings when you wondered whether you were still on the right road. There were days when you questioned whether God still recalled his promises to you. But even amid the stillness, God was working. Even while you were waiting, God was creating something in you that would remain beyond the battle. He wasn't only creating blessings around you, He was preparing you for endurance. Heaven is now releasing a proclamation. It is time. It's time to emerge from the shadows and embrace the totality of what was promised. It's time to abandon limited thinking and aggressively pursue heavenly growth. It's time to quit questioning your worth and start walking as if you're supported by heaven. Because you are. Everything you've been through has led to this point. In July, this is not simply a date. It's your entryway. The chosen one. Your spirit did not anticipate the transformation. It recognized it. And this message, it is heaven's affirmation that your allotted time has never been closer. Prepare to align. Stay ready. Because what comes next won't be tiny. It'll be huge. And it will make sense of everything. Chapter 2. July is a heavenly portal rather than merely a selected month. Don't consider this simply another month. The calendar may have changed to July in the physical world, but something far deeper has transpired in the spiritual realm. A gate has opened, revealing a holy entrance, a spiritual entry point that only the discerning can identify. This isn't about dates or routines. This is about prophetic time. This is about aligning with God's larger purpose. July is the 7th month, and in biblical symbolism, 7 represents wholeness, fullness, and heavenly perfection. It represents the conclusion of cycles and the beginning of something new. It is the moment at which God's work matures. And right now, something in your life is achieving its full potential. This is not at random. This is a wonderful arrangement. What seemed like a delay was really miraculous preservation. What seemed like stagnation was really preparation. And the season has turned. This doorway is spiritual. It cannot be seen with the naked eye. It cannot be verified by reasoning. It must be discerned by the Spirit. That is why only the selected few can sense it. You can feel the weight of the atmosphere. You may feel the invitation tugging at your spirit. Heaven seems to be calling, come here. Cross over. Step into what I've prepared. July represents the gateway to celestial satisfaction. Many of you have been on the verge of a breakthrough for a long time, wondering when it might happen. This is the tipping moment. This is the point where time and eternity converge. What you've prayed for, fasting for tears, it's being released via this time frame. July is the month of manifestation. Things that were previously held up are now being disclosed. Things that were previously concealed are now being disclosed. Expect the unexpected. Unexpected opportunities are going to arise. You'll find yourself in talks you hadn't anticipated. Emails, phone calls, and divine appointments. They'll come without you needing to pursue them. Because when the gate is open, favor pours. Not because you controlled or maneuvered, but because you were loyal, waiting when it would have been simpler to give up, and remaining pure while others compromised. This doorway will not be open forever. That is why sensitivity is so important at this hour. When God tells to move, you must do so. Delay might cost you access. July is more than simply a time for watching. It's the season to stroll through. It takes obedience, trust, and preparation. Do not sleep through this window. Do not let fear immobilize you. When heaven says, step in, God is not limited by human time. However, He often operates in prophetic seasons, and this July has been marked by heaven for some. This will be the month of destiny. Collisions are when intent and preparation ultimately meet. For others, it will be the month of exposure, when everything artificial is stripped away so that the true may shine. And for many, this will be a month of heavenly movement, in which you are transitioned, positioned, and launched unexpectedly. Divine allies are being summoned right now to support you. Resources are being diverted. Rooms are being reconfigured to accommodate your arrival. Some of the breakthroughs you're going to experience were previously prevented, not because you were unprepared, but because the moment was not right. But now the moment is right. The spiritual gateway is open. This is more than just a prophecy month. It's a sacred invitation and a spiritual doorway. Only those who perceive it in their soul will be able to go through it. Stay vigilant. Maintain alignment. July is more than simply a page in time. It's a gateway to destiny. Chapter 3. The quiet was deliberate. You were being prepped. The chosen one. You have asked the question in secret. God, where are you? You sobbed at midnight, feeling abandoned, unknown, and unheard. You've reflected on the delay in your life and pondered, "Did I miss it? Did I do anything wrong?" But hear this clearly. You're not being punished. You're being positioned. The quiet did not indicate God's absence. It was his precision. Heaven's silence does not imply that it has ceased operating. In reality, it often indicates the reverse. God was performing his deepest work in you during the quietest times, when you were seeking answers. God was developing perseverance while you were looking for signs. God was building your foundation as you hoped for progress. God was creating the maturity needed to handle the significance of your next step. Because what's coming is not light. What is coming is not tiny, and God does not drag anything weighty into an unreinforced vessel. Your waiting period was not wasted time. It was heavenly training. You were in heaven's secret classroom, receiving instruction in quiet. What could not be taught via noise? You were being polished, not dismissed. You were trusted with challenges that would develop your character, not your appearance. That's why others couldn't grasp your route. That's why you couldn't push open certain doors. No matter how hard you tried, God stopped you, not to punish, but to protect you. Some of the doors you desired would have destroyed you if you had entered too quickly. Some of the connections you lamented were really spiritual shields in disguise. God took away what couldn't travel with you because he knew what was coming next would need a version of you that hadn't completely developed yet. You did not fail. You were information, the anguish you experienced. It was not for nothing. Every tear you shed in solitude was caught by God. Each lonely night was tallied. Every misinterpreted choice. Each small act of obedience. Every time you forgave without getting closure. He saw everything, and heaven recorded everything. That is why the conflict escalated. Because the opponent understood that your preparation was almost finished. Hell fights the hardest when heaven is on the verge of unleashing destiny. You will not be the same person you were in July of this year. You have been through too much. You've been transformed by fire. You have been humbled by the weight. And now, whether you recognize it or not, you are prepared in ways you weren't before. Not perfect, but properly positioned. Not perfect, but loyal. Not loud, but firmly entrenched. God needed to prepare you in secret before he could trust you in public. He had to remove the pride, anxiety, people-pleasing, self-doubt, and emotional instability that may have jeopardized your future season. He was building a vessel capable of carrying weight not just for you, but also for the lives you would touch. And now that the preparations are finished, the gate is opening. The stillness has fulfilled its function. The delay has served its purpose. What seemed like a setback is now being exposed as a setup. So don't begrudge the silence or disdain the detour, for every instant of quietness was heaven's planned planning. You are now ready for the release. Chapter 4. What's coming is far larger than you. It's the kingdom-level chosen one. It's not only about your own advancement. It is not only about obtaining a better job, finding the ideal person, or improving your lifestyle. What God is going to unleash into your life has a kingdom-level purpose. It's not just a blessing. It's a divine command with the weight of destiny, legacy, and everlasting consequence. You've been picked to not only receive, but also represent. You are a vessel, an ambassador of heaven, and a living example of what it looks like to say yes to God unconditionally. This is why your process has been so rigorous. That's why your battle has been so precise. Because what is flowing from you is not typical. It is sacrosanct. It is strategic. Its purpose is to promote God's kingdom, not simply for your comfort. You carry a solution. The world hasn't seen everything. Something God ingrained in you before you were born. A spiritual blueprint that only you can complete. Even if the opponent attempted to distort your identity, impede your progress, and undermine your confidence. You made it. You kept going. You did not quit. Now, heaven is preparing to reward that faithfulness with manifestation. This is the reason you've never fit in. This explains why you always felt different, misunderstood, or isolated. It wasn't a rejection. It was preservation. God needed to safeguard your oil. He needed to keep you concealed until the proper time. Because the items you carry are too important to be polluted by early exposure. And now that your character has been honed, your vision strengthened, and your soul developed, God is preparing to reveal what has been happening in the hidden location. What comes out in July will have a far-reaching impact. This is not just a fresh chance. This is a kingdom activation. It is the sort of blessing that removes generational curses and creates generational prosperity, the kind of provision that provides not just food, but also cash, visions, ministries, and movements. It's the type of heavenly favor that places you in situations where your name has already been discussed by people you've never met. It's the kind of open door that not only changes your life, but also alters atmospheres and regions. You prayed for a breakthrough, but God is providing you a plan. You begged for deliverance, but He gave you dominion, since the next level isn't about survival anymore. It is about governing over the land that God has allocated to you. This is why you were saved. This is what the stillness, stretching, and isolation were about. God did not put you through the fire only to give you a fleeting reward. He brought you to display the kingdom via your life. So don't shrink back. Do not underestimate what God is accomplishing in you. You are carrying a heavenly plan that will affect generations. And the gates of hell cannot prevent it, since it was not born in the flesh. It was born in the Spirit. This is more than a breakthrough. This marks the start of your kingdom assignment. And July represents the beautiful green light. Chapter 5. Your foes will be stunned. But God is not finished with them yet. The chosen one. You've gone through times when you were misunderstood, disregarded, and even criticized. People judged your quiet, not realizing it was holy. They mistook your seclusion for weakness. Ignorant, it was consecration. They scoffed at your delay, not understanding it was a divine plan. Some even suggested you were done. You had no future, that you had missed your opportunity. But what they didn't realize was that heaven was concealing you on purpose. They saw a halted version of you and figured it was the final one. But, really, God was writing a chapter they couldn't read as they chatted. Heaven was functioning while they were gossiping. God was protecting you when they discarded you. Angels were deployed on your behalf. And suddenly, everything is altering. July is more than simply the next chapter. This is your public comeback. God is going to uplift you in such an obvious, unmistakable manner that even your opponents will be forced to confess. Only God could have accomplished it. This is not about ego or retribution. This is about revelations. God will use your life as a billboard for His power and majesty. They needed to see you down so they could see who lifted you. If God had skipped the steps, people would have attributed your achievement to chance, connections, or manipulation. However, they will no longer have any excuses. They saw you broken. They saw you going through the flames. And they'll soon witness you emerge from the ashes, dressed in dignity, fever, and heavenly power. Don't be shocked if people who ridiculed you start showing up again. Some will behave as if they have always believed in you. Others will pretend that nothing occurred. But make no mistake, they aren't returning because they adore you. They're returning because they're bewildered, intrigued, and surprised. They want to hear how you transitioned from ignored to valued, rejected to revered, from concealed to quite obvious. They'll grin in front of you, but they'll be thinking about how. Let them ponder. Let them watch. However, don't let them distract you. This is your God-appointed time. Now is not the time to settle scores. You did not get here by trying to be noticed. You arrived here by submitting to be sent. You did not struggle for a place at the table. God created a new table with your name on it. Stay focused, modest, and aligned. Because the same God who has elevated you will continue to protect you. Don't get it twisted. God isn't finished with your adversaries, either. Some will be convicted. Some of them will feel humbled. Others will go through their own journey, due of how you were handled. And you will not be responsible for correcting or confronting them. God will manage it. He's the vindicator. He is the one who repays. Your job isn't to prove anything. It is to continue becoming what He has called you to be. Your light is now ascending. And those who questioned your merit will have to see your anointing. The same voices who criticized you will eventually fall hushed in amazement. Because when God lifts someone, no amount of criticism, slander, or sabotage can prevent their rise. So walk with your head up, not in arrogance, but with heavenly assurance. You're not who they said you were. You are not the person that the past attempted to shape you into. You are the person God has chosen to expose at this particular moment. Chapter 6. Angels are being dispatched. You aren't doing this alone. The chosen one. Hear it plainly. You are not going to this next level by yourself. What is ahead is too large, too heavy, and too spiritually important for you to bear alone. And that is precisely why heaven is intervening right now. Behind the scenes, assignments are triggered and angels are sent on your behalf. You may not be able to see them with your own eyes, but the unseen world is moving as a result of the weight of your calling. God never sends someone on a divine errand without providing divine backup. You're not just a believer. You are a kingdom vessel, a walking response. As a result, heaven has allocated you heavenly help. You've already passed tests that have broken others in preparation for this chapter. Most people would have crumbled under the spiritual strain you faced, but your obedience was not overlooked. Your submission has resulted in miraculous reinforcement as you pass through this celestial portal in July. Angelic activity is expanding in your life. Divine escorts are going ahead of you to prepare chambers, soothe hearts, and cancel traps. Some of the random favors you are going to get are not entirely random. It is the outcome of angels bringing conditions into harmony. Sudden phone calls, unexpected invites, and once-in-a-lifetime friendships. These are all signs that the supernatural is interacting with the natural. Don't be astonished if you end yourself strolling into areas you didn't ask for with individuals you've never met. Extend compassion, respect, or opportunity without any natural motive. That is heavenly orchestration. God is going before you, straightening the crooked road. He has directed angels over you to guard, help, lead, and bring heavenly supply on time. And when terror attempts to whisper, "You aren't ready," or maybe you are alone in this, remember this fact. If heaven sends you, heaven will keep you. You are not wandering blindly. You're completely covered. Every act of trust you take causes movement in the spirit world. Your prayers have been activated. Unseen assistance. Your purity, integrity, and resilience. These were your weapons. And now the prize is heavenly assistance. It cannot be sabotaged by humans. Some of the resistance you've been seeing recently isn't simply an assault. It's a fight between the world of darkness and the army of light that surrounds you. Hell is worried. Demons are upset because you've finally entered the zone they attempted to keep you out of. However, they cannot stop what has been decided in heaven. And God has sent angels to assist you not only arrive, but also flourish while you're there. This is the supernatural season. You're not just being blessed. You're being supported. You aren't merely being lifted. You are being escorted. You're not just walking into your mission. You're jumping in with heavenly strategy to support every action you make. So move openly. Speak boldly. Know that heaven has already marked each door you go through, and angels have already been deployed to each struggle you face. Chapter 7. This is a wonderful launch. Remain modest. Stay ready. The chosen one. You've been circling the runway for what seems like a long time. You've waited patiently, suffered quietly, and followed orders diligently. But now, God says July is your launch date. Not only movement activation, what you've been hoping and planning for is now coming together. This is not the time to retreat or revisit past worries. The version of yourself who used to second-guess everything is no longer appropriate for your current situation. That cautious, uncertain, reluctant identity is no longer valid. God is inviting you to be courageous, not in ego, but in holy assurance. He is saying, "I prepared you for this. Now go." You did not get here by straining. You arrived here. I give up. And now God is preparing to raise you in ways that no one, including you, can claim credit for. However, keep in mind that tremendous elevation comes with greater responsibility. Stay humble because pride will undermine what prayer has accomplished. Do not forget who got you through. Stay ready. The doors are going to open. Resources, invites, and favors are arriving rapidly. So, keep vigilant and don't get distracted. Stay rooted in prayer, because this degree of popularity will draw in new forms of conflict. But you are not alone. Heaven is supporting your every step. If God opens the gate, no power in hell can shut it. What you're going into is more than simply an opportunity. It's an assignment. Your life is about to speak out without having to yell. Your breakthrough will become your message. July represents your spiritual portal, and what's on the other side will change your whole perspective. You have waited. You have wept. You have pondered. Now it's time. Remain modest. Stay ready. Because God is going to unleash something huge, and you're his chosen vessel.